Hello and welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks very much for tuning in once again. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, people sometimes ask how they can support the channel, and the best way, to be honest, is simply to hit the subscribe button and to give us a like. But if you like, you can also buy us a coffee. The details are down below. Now, the rifle we're talking about today is a package. So it comes with basically everything you need to get started apart from air and some pellets. It is the Gamo Venari, and it comprises obviously the rifle, a scope, the mounts, a bipod, and the silencer as well. Now, lots of people come onto the channel and onto our website and ask about what's the best rifle to get started with. Sometimes there are people coming into the sport for the first time and they want to get a PCP to start with, or perhaps they've been shooting Springer rifles and they want to get into the PCP side of things. And to be honest, it is a bit of a minefield. There's an awful lot of guns out there, and there's an awful lot of marketing that goes around those guns. But for those people, a package can be a really good option because it takes a lot of the research out of finding what scope to go with what rifle out of the equation. But you do have to pick your package quite carefully. Now, the main weakness I've found with packages has always been the scope, and sometimes you get some truly horrific scopes that come with a rifle. But this Gamo 3-9x32 scope looks on the surface to be pretty good actually. It's metal, it's not plastic. There's no parallax adjustment on it, either on the collar here or on a side wheel. So it's a fixed parallax scope, and normally I tell people to avoid fixed parallax scopes. But if a scope has been made specifically for airgun use and the parallax is fixed at a distance that is commensurate with typical airgun ranges, then you're fine. And I think that's going to be the case with this one, but we will find out. Now, the Gamo Venari is available in 177 and 22, and it has a recommended retail price of £499, which includes everything that you can see here. Having said that, I have seen it cheaper on other sites. If you shop around, you can probably get it for something less than £499. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the rifle from back to front, talk about the key features, zoom in on those key features. We'll talk about the whole magazine loading and inserting system. We'll talk about how to fill it with air as well. And then we'll go down the range, put a few pellets through it, put it on the chronograph and see how it shoots. The Gamo Venari is a full-size, full-power rifle, which means it's going to be putting out over 11 foot-pounds. And when we get down on the range and put it on the chronograph, we'll see how accurate that is. But at 1,110 millimeters long, it's full size, and it weighs 4 kilos. But that 4 kilos includes the scope, the mounts, the bipod, and the silencer. So everything you see here is weighs 4 kilos. 4 kilos. Now, if you strip all of that off, it means that the rifle alone is actually quite a light rifle. Now, a large part of that is down to the fact that you have this black polymer or black plastic stock. Now, it's a very good quality stock. It's not scratchy, it's not hollow, and there's no flex or bending in it at all. It's a really nice black tactical stock. There is a seam mark along here and in a few other places, but the moulding seam is very nicely finished. There's no burrs, there are no sharp edges to it or anything like that. Has a very steep pistol grip, as you can see here, almost vertical, and it has patches of stippling, moulded stippling on the pistol grip, and also on this long fore end. At the back, there is a solid rubber shoulder pad, and it has 3 solid rubber blocks inside it that you can push through to kind of ventilate the shoulder pad and make it more squishy. Now, obviously, this is a PCP rifle, so there's no recoil anyway. But if you want to do that, then you have the option to do it. On top here is very obviously this cheek piece, which is adjustable. There's a couple of screws down here. Slacken those off, and you can raise this cheek piece up and down, and then lock it off again. And once you've locked it, it's very, very solid. And that obviously gives you the ability to set the cheek piece at just the right height to give you good alignment for a scope. And the scope itself is mounted on this dovetail rail up here, and it's a one continuous rail, which is good because the magazine is designed to fit within the action, so it doesn't sit proud of the magazine and split the rail in two. So it means that you've got the full extent of this rail to move the scope up and down to make sure you've got the right eye relief for you. So that combination of this uninterrupted rail, the ability to set eye relief, and this adjustable cheek piece to set eye alignment, really does set you up well to aim down the rifle. Now the Venari is a bolt action rifle. Gamo and BSA are probably the most prominent users of a bolt action right now. It's in two stages. The first stage, well, obviously you lift it up to start with. The first stage comes back sort of halfway, then you pull it back a second stage to cock the rifle, and then it goes forward and down again, and that action probes a pellet through the magazine. Now the Gamo / BSA magazine is, I've been using them for years and years and years, and they've never ever had a problem. I think they're great magazines, I really do. It's like a plastic cartridge magazine, and we'll show you the magazine loading process in close-up. And it takes 10 shots in 177 and 2.2. Now underneath here you have the trigger guard is molded into the stock itself, and it sort of follows this sort of swoopy line up here, which is quite nice. The trigger itself is plastic, and a lot of people get upset about plastic triggers instead of metal triggers, but in reality this trigger is very, very solid. There's no sense of flex in it or movement or anything like that. It's as solid as they come. And two-stage adjustable. The adjustments are up here, and they are accessible by some holes down here for you to put a screwdriver through these holes to access the adjustment. The safety catch is a manual safety catch, and it's resettable. It doesn't come on when you cock the rifle, and it's like a tiny little blade that's set in front of the main trigger blade. Now, as I've said before many a time, I'm not a huge fan of safety catches anywhere near the trigger, especially within the located right in front of the trigger, because I don't want to fiddle around with a safety catch near the trigger when I'm trying to make the rifle safe. But lots of manufacturers do it, and they know better than I do. In the rear position, the rifle is safe, and then you push it forward and the rifle is live. Now the good thing about this safety catch is that it does operate pretty much silently. So if you're going to be hunting with this or doing pest control, you can flick the safety catch on and off without making a noise, which is really good. Now the forend, this long forend, has a couple of Picatinny rails, little short accessory rails on either side. And obviously you can use those to attach a torch or an IR illuminator. But as part of your pack, you get these two separate bipod legs. And they're adjustable. I think they go between 9 and 11, 9 and 12 inches. And they operate by pushing a little button down here, which swings them forward and locks them into place. And then when you want to deploy them, push that button in again and they lock out. And we'll show you how to attach them in close-up in a second or two. Gives a really, really nice solid platform. The only thing is that, it's not really a criticism, is that the footprint is quite wide. But if you're going to be using this on a bench or level ground, that really isn't an issue. Now on top you have a BSA cold hammer forged barrel, one of the best barrels in the market, 480 millimeters long, and it is capped off with a silencer. Now the silencer can be removed simply by unscrewing it to reveal a 1/2 inch UNF thread. The silencer is quite long, but it needs that length because it's not very chunky. Silencer is all about volume, and what this silencer lacks in terms of chunkiness, it makes up for in terms of length. The air cylinder itself takes a 232 bar fill, and that is achieved by pulling off this plastic end cap to reveal the fill port, and we'll show you the filling process in a little while. And then at the end there, hopefully you might be able to see, is the pressure gauge. I say 232 bar fill, and that'll give you about 120 shots in 2.2 and 100 shots in 177, according to Gamo. And again, we'll test that out when we go down the range. So I think that's everything. What we'll do now is we'll zoom in on those features in close-up, and then we'll go down the range and see how it shoots. Now, interestingly enough, with this adjustable cheek piece, ordinarily adjustable cheek pieces in their lowest position will kind of follow the line of the rest of the butt pad here, and you won't get a gap here at all. But on the Venari, the lowest position that you can have this cheek piece still has it looking like it's been adjusted upwards. Now, if you slacken off these screws, just slacken these off, I'll show you what I mean. So that there is the lowest position that you can go. As I say, it still looks like it's adjusted. Now that's fine because that gives you good eye alignment, but you will have this permanently adjusted look to the cheek piece. Now obviously you can raise it up even higher, like so. Like this, just tighten those off, and that will give you an even higher cheek piece if you're using very high mounts or you just have a massive head or something. But in its lowest position down here, again show you that is the lowest position there. It still looks adjusted. Just something to bear in mind. So let's talk about this Gamo/BSA magazine then. It goes into the breech from the left-hand side of the rifle. There's no separate retaining catch. You literally pull the bolt up and back to cock the rifle, and then pull the magazine out. Then once you've filled it, you slide it back into the breech again and return the bolt. Now this is the back of the magazine, this sort of smooth side, if you like. This side here with this sort of little round bit in the middle is the breech side. So that little hole there will fit into the actual breech when the magazine's in place. So with the back of the magazine facing you, that's where you need to put the pellets in. Now on the top here you can probably see that there are some numbers. Now that relates obviously to the number of pellets that you've got inside the magazine, and every time you cock the magazine and take a shot, you cycle down through these numbers until you get down to number 1 showing you, and then you take that last shot and you know you're empty. Now there's also a little white dot that will appear here on the side of the magazine. Obviously that's not visible in the dark, but during the day when that white dot appears, you know that you've run out of pellets as well. Now filling it is really easy. This central drum is sprung, and if you kind of let go of it, it will kind of ping back, but you don't need to preload it or anything like that. It's just literally a case of, with the back of the magazine, taking a pellet nose first and just dropping it into each hole, rotating it anti-clockwise to expose the next hole, dropping your pellet in again, rotating it round once more to the next hole, dropping a pellet in, and so on and so forth. As I say, the magazine takes 10 shots in 177 and 10 shots in 2.2. Now once you've loaded all 10 pellets in there, the next stage is obviously to put it into the breech, and we'll show you that next. So I've taken all the pellets out of the magazine now, and you can see the counter's on 1 because it's empty. Obviously if it was filled with pellets, then that counter would be on 10, but it's on 1 because it's empty. Now to insert it into the breech, very, very simple. Obviously make sure the rifle is on safe and pull back the bolt, and then with the flat side of the magazine facing you and the numbers on the top, just push it into the breech from the left hand side as far as it will go, and that will expose that number 1, or obviously if the magazine is full it will expose number 10, and then return the bolt. So filling up the Venari is really easy. First of all, you need to pull off this plastic cup or cap from the front that exposes the fill port just here. And then it's a case of attaching the fill probe to your line, popping the line into that port, making sure it's all nicely connected up, and then giving the rifle a 232 bar fill, which is about there, bleeding it off, and then removing the probe obviously, and replacing that cap, and you're ready to go. You can see at the end there, that's your fill pressure gauge just there. Well, that's the Gamo Venari. Next stage is to take it down the range, put some pellets in it, put some air in it, and see how it shoots in terms of accuracy and consistency over the chronograph. Well, I've come down to Renning Air Target Shooting Club to give the Gamo Venari a bit of a shoot. I set a target out at my usual 30 metres, and I'm using Air Arms Diablo Fill pellets 177 4.52 size. So let's see how we get on. That's all 10 pellets. Let's go and see what the group's like. It didn't look too bad from here, but we'll go and find out. Well, that's not bad at all. That's 9 pellets through one hole there, which is fingernail size. I pulled one to the right there. But yeah, that's a great group for 30 meters, 177 Diablo field pellets. Well, there you have it. That's our review of the Gamo Venari. £499, possibly a little bit cheaper. Includes the scope, the mounts, the bipod, the silencer. Really great value for money. As accurate as anything else I've shot. Put it on the chronograph. It's 11.4 foot-pounds, which is fantastic. And also with the 177, I was getting just over 100 shots with it. So yeah, really good value for money. The trigger, it's not the best trigger in the world. It's a little bit of a long pull. I haven't really done anything with it adjustment-wise, but the let-off is nice and crisp. And yeah, overall, a really great starter package. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit the like button. And don't forget to check out our website, alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.